Hey everyone, it's Maximilian, and we are getting through Saffron today. I promise. I don't know how I managed to cram this thing into 15 minutes, maybe a little over 15 minutes. I somehow managed to trim it all down. But I had another case of myself playing for much longer than I should have, got way too ambitious, and realized that I'd played for about 10 minutes longer than I probably should have. And as such, I had to cut a lot of video out of here. So if I just jump from place to place, there's your explanation. I realized this was kind of supposed to be a walkthrough, so you could basically see where I was going. Although, if you really want to get through Silphco quickly, and you don't feel like level grinding that much, it takes you maybe 10 minutes to get through the whole thing. Because you just need to get to the certain floor of the room, fight a boss who's guarding a teleport, go past that teleport twice, and then find the card key. And then once you get the card key, the teleport that gets to the top level, where you fight Gary and then teleport to Boss Rocket, is literally right past the door. So it's really not that hard to get through there. If you'd like me to walk you through it, I could. I'll point it out later in the video where it is. But it's really simple. And you can look up guides for this on the internet as well if you do get stuck. But I just wanted to just hop all over the place and explore Silphco, because when I was playing this game as a young kid, and whenever I picked it up earlier in the past few years, whenever I just felt nostalgic, I never really got a chance to explore Saffron's Tower. I guess just was too impatient. I wanted to get to Fuchsia quickly and beat Koga and surf on Cinnabar and Rare Candy glitch my way to victory. But there's a lot of stuff in here that you don't really see if you're going to just blaze your way through it. Like, I wasn't aware that there were beds in here where you could rest and heal your Pokemon. I can't remember what floor they're on. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the top floors, like the 9th or 10th. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of stuff in Silphco that you're not aware of when you just blaze through it. So, you can probably see a few interesting things on the way here, but as I said, it is very disjoint because, again, my fault. I spent way too much time playing, trying to cram everything into 15 minutes, so I apologize. However, some new developments in the life of Maximilian over the past week or so where I haven't submitted a video, again, apologies. I am currently working on applying to study abroad, and I don't know if I told you guys this before, but I'm looking to go to Hong Kong, and so far everything's looking pretty good. I'm actually thinking about going with one of my roommates right now. It's going to be pretty awesome if we can get this thing worked out. One of the little unfortunate things, though, is that I don't have a passport yet, and it's kind of hard to study abroad without a passport with which to go abroad. So I've been filling out all kinds of government paperwork. I need to go get some passport photos taken care of, run by the courthouse, swear an oath, blah blah blah, wait a couple weeks, and fill out a bunch more paperwork to apply for the school. So yeah, right now my life is, when I'm not doing school or this, it's basically paperwork. So I've been incredibly busy lately, and the next few weeks are going to be busy. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I don't expect to get any kind of significant amount of downtime within the next week or 2 weeks, but hopefully after that I can get a chance to catch my breath. It's getting to that point where we're starting all of our exams. A lot of people in my house have actually just gotten their first wave over already. But for whatever reason, in all of my classes, we haven't had an exam yet until actually just last week. I had my first exam, which is incredibly late in the year, at least for what I'm used to. So I had my first exam in statistics on Friday, and I'm going to have 2 more exams coming up in the next week in both my computer science classes. And also in my computer engineering class will be that same week too. So, yeah, it's going to be very busy to say the least. Oh, and then to make matters worse, I have 2 lab reports and a paper due next week on Monday and Tuesday. So, in other words, this weekend is going to be me sitting in my room, cowering in the dark, writing papers. Ugh, papers are terrible. Word of advice. We're back to that again. College advice with Maximilian. Here's our latest installment for this week. If you are ever assigned a paper and they give you a significant amount of time to do it, i.e. 2-3 weeks, something like that, do not, I repeat, do not wait for the weekend before or the day before it is due to do it, because this will basically cause you to develop suicidal tendencies. It is absolutely the stupidest thing you can do in college, because when they assign you papers, they're not like those little nitty-gritty papers that you find in high school. Like, these are actually papers that they care about. They want them to be 5 to 10 pages. They want them to be fully documented, properly citing your sources, you name it. And they actually care about your papers, and they will grade them hard. So, word of advice, do your papers early. At least start on them. Get some kind of an idea as to what you're going to write about. Look up a few sources, jot them down. Start creating citations for them early. Because when you have to scramble to put citations for your sources together at the last minute, it really sucks. I also have a speech. I was up to about 2 or 3 in the morning last night, actually, preparing for a speech that I thought I was going to give today. Alas, my teacher came in with some kind of case of laryngitis or something. She did not sound good. So she basically called class early, and I ended up not giving my speech, which kind of sucked because I was a little pissed that I'd worked for that and then didn't get it to do it. But at least now I have a little more time to prepare for it. But yeah, I was up really late last night and I did not feel good at all. And it really takes a toll on your body when you do that. So definitely don't put things off to the last minute. Procrastination will kill you when you get to college. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk other things. Like Pokemon. After all, this is a Pokemon video. This isn't Dr. Phil college advice. I did get the Arcanine drawn. Or I didn't get the Arcanine drawn. A friend of mine got the Arcanine drawn. As well as an Alakazam. However, I don't have access to a scanner at the moment. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to his video in the description once I get it done. Or once he gets it done. Because he's doing some kind of video where he's basically giving a setup tour of his room as well. So you can also get an idea of what other parts of the house look like too, because I think he may actually be going through the whole house. But he's going to give a little quick shot of them in his video, maybe give you a little bit of a detail shot. So I'll post a link to that video once he uploads it, or if I can get access to a scanner in the future, I'll grab some scans and maybe post links to them, or put them into my video. But just keep your eye out for that. Maybe within the next day or so, I'll be putting out links in the description to his video. So go ahead and check that out, because they look pretty good. I have to say, this guy's actually got quite a knack for drawing Pokemon. We may just have to keep doing this to him for like every episode I put out. We'll have to make him draw a new one. Just bog him down with requests until he collapses under it all. I don't know. So if you have another one that you'd like to see drawn, because, I don't know, personally I'd like to see him draw either Dragonair or Dragonite, because I think they look awesome, go ahead and post a comment, because you need something to post a comment on. I haven't been getting too many comments lately, at least not as many as I would have liked. I'm not saying anything against you guys, but I like seeing comments. I like reading feedback on my videos. I like having something to look at, to know that I'm actually interacting with you, and not just making this a whole one-way gig. So yeah, throw a comment out, let me know what the next Pokemon you'd like to see drawn would be. Maybe we can get at least a decent chunk of the original Pokedex done before we actually finish this walkthrough. Because I really don't think it'll take that long to do the catch-em-all part, since we have the Ditto glitch to help us out, and Master Balls. So, this, I don't know, maybe it would take longer than I'd think. But we already have a good chunk of the Pokemon caught already. And once you catch a base form of a Pokemon, if you just want to evolve it up, it makes it a lot easier instead of having to catch the evolved forms entirely separately. So I don't know how long that'll take. I guess we'll find out as that time draws near. But until the time being, let's bog them down with draw requests. So go for that. Leave a comment. And the Pokeflute is awesome, by the way. I'm pretty sure you all figured this out at one point or another. But you can play the Pokeflute in battle and wake your Pokemon up while it's asleep, which is great, because you never have to buy Awakening again. I always felt like I was cheating, though, whenever I did that in the game. I'm not entirely sure why, because they did put it in there, so it's not really cheating. Or is it? I don't know. Whatever, my Pokemon playing morals are very, very stretchy. Quite flexible with that. Hey look, it's Teller again. And this time his Pokemon are a lot stronger than we're used to. So, even though we're a bit under the curve, Alakazam and Gyarados and the like actually have very high attack stats. Alakazam's would be special attack because he's a psychic Pokemon. But the fact that our Pokemon stats are so much higher than his actually brings us about even with this Pokemon. Like, Gyarados' attack stat is retardedly high. Absolutely ridiculous. And Surf has such a high power level on its own that you can basically kill anything in one hit, even if it's 5 or 6 levels ahead of you like that Growlithe was. It's absurd. Charmeleon is not quite there yet because he's in that little awkward stage. He's like going through Pokemon puberty, halfway to adulthood. Once he gets to Charizard, though, he'll definitely be a lot stronger. The stat gap between Charmeleon and Charizard is definitely noticeable. So we're going to keep charging along with him. Bear with my Charmeleon. He feels sad being the odd guy out, the weaker of the group, but he's going to get there one day when he gets his wings. Yeah, you get the idea. Alakazam is going down because Thunder Wave plus Wrap is stupid. I don't know how many times I'm going to mention that, but it's so dumb. It's so busted. Like, they aren't exactly the strongest moves ever, but there's just not much of a way out of it in this game. Like, when you can slow their Pokemon down so that they can never get a move in, and you can just continuously wrap them, it's so dumb. So dumb. It's like Soul Calibur or any of those fighting style games like Mortal Kombat, where you have this one character who has that move that's just so impossibly hard to counter, even though it doesn't do that much damage. They can just repetitively hit you with it, and there's nothing you can do about it. That stuff drives me insane. I can imagine how Teller feels right now, seeing as how I've had wrap attacks on me all the time coming up until this point, so I guess it's sweet revenge, if you want to call it that. But, I don't know. That's another bit of a Pokemon moral issue, but whatever, I don't care. I'm getting past Teller any way I can, and I'm not taking chances on his Alakazam. Because I've got an Alakazam, and I know how powerful it is, so we're not going to screw around. So anyway, if you go talk to this guy, he gives you a Lapras. Not that it's really that awesome, because it starts at level 15, so you basically have to run it on a treadmill for hours and hours to actually get it up to par with your team. But if you really feel like using it and raising it to a decent level, it's actually not that bad. Water Ice is a very good combo in this game. It is vulnerable to electric Pokemon. So there are occasionally times when that becomes relevant. However, the fact that you have the ability to take on ground, rock, flying, dragon, and grass Pokemon with your water ice type is pretty nuts. That's basically half the Pokemon types in the game. And generally speaking, water Pokemon tend to have a very high attack stat anyway. It's kind of just in their nature, like rock Pokemon always have a solid defense, as Brock and Misty tell you later in the game. But yeah, good Pokemon if you want to invest the time in it. I'm not going to, because nobody's voted for it in the poll, I don't think. Maybe one person has. But it's definitely not going to be there. So, we're going to just dump it in the PC and call it an entry in the Pokedex, because that's basically what it's doing, is one less Pokemon that I don't have to catch. So, Nidorino. It's really annoying facing these kinds of Pokemon when they just happen to land that poison sting that works. I think this happens to me probably a bit more often than most people. I don't know, I just feel like every time somebody uses one of those random moves that might have a status effect on me, it just always works. Like whenever you were facing the bikers on Cycling Road, that is the worst. Because literally every Pokemon there is poison, so you're just asking for trouble. But, whatever, you can get through it if you just trudge along. All in all, Giovanni's Pokemon are just really not that good. The Kangaskhan's probably the hardest one to get through, but seeing as how Haunter is basically invulnerable to any of Kangaskhan's attacks, it makes it a cakewalk. And if you just have a strong water Pokemon like Gyarados fighting the rest of the way, then there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to win this. Because Giovanni uses primarily ground-type Pokemon, especially when he's the gym leader. So, any kind of water type or ice type, and you are set for life. Psychic Pokemon tend to work well against him too because half of his Pokemon have a poison subtype. So Alakazam is also a great fit there. But in this case, Gyarados can hit everything, which is great. So yes, we finally have a Master Ball, and now we can move on to Fuchsia and fight Koga, and then we can go duplicate stuff. So until then, I will see you later.